Hey Jonathan, what are the different ways of detecting a refrigerant leak in a heating and air conditioning system?
So first I like to do is talk to the homeowner, kind of see how long they've been experiencing their system not cooling, whether they've had to add refrigerant in the past. That'll kind of give me some baselines of if they have a small leak or a big leak. Then what I'll do is I like to perform a visual inspection. There's oil that's based in the refrigerant, so if there is a leak, sometimes you'll see some oil staining on some of the coils or around the unit. That being said, there are multiple other ways as far as electronic leak detection. All of our technicians have electronic leak detectors on their vans. We could also do a UV dye. If we think it's a small leak, we could do a UV dye and seal. Then we could come back at a later date if it leaks out and detect the refrigerant with UV light. And last but not least, we could recover all the refrigerant and add in nitrogen and do a full leak search that way. From there, we could determine what the issue is, and we could recommend repairs on the system based on where it's leaking from.
How do you identify it with nitrogen?
So with nitrogen, what we'll do is we'll recover the existing refrigerant. We will charge the system up to approximately 300 psi, 400 psi, and that's gonna up to 500 psi, and that's going to allow us to find the leak quicker. Sometimes you're even able to hear it, and there is trace amounts of refrigerant that will still be in the system, so we could also use our electronic leak detector at that point. So
We see guys that are using spray bubbles online. Do you use spray bubbles, or do you like to use dye or refrigerants?
depending on the system, I like to use the soap bubbles at the joints, right? That's gonna confirm that that's where the leak is at, right? So when it's pumped up with nitrogen and we spray all the U-joints and all the bends and turns in the system with soap and bubbles, that's going to allow it's going to allow it to bubble up, and we could either at that point determine if it's in a repairable spot, or if we need to order parts to get it replaced, that portion of the system.
Sounds good. Thank you.